Hi everyone, welcome to Olive City Homestead. Kim here in Northern California, and today is the first break in our hot weather. We've had 8 weeks now of 100 to 115, 16 degrees Fahrenheit, and you know what? It's nice for a little break. In fact, if you listen closely, it is actually spitting a little bit of rain. Not enough to bother me. In fact, it's kind of cool. Actually, we haven't had any rain since March, so I don't really know what this is about. It was 105 yesterday. It's supposed to be 105 again tomorrow, but hey, I'll take it. Anyway, this video today is actually something I filmed over the last 2 days, so it's full of sunshine, and it's all about fruit and nuts. In it, I share with you the progress some of my fruit trees are making, including my pomegranates and my peaches, and I share with you my pecan trees, which I don't ever think I've showed before, but which are looking great. So come with me and see what we've got growing here now in mid-July. Now, doesn't that look like a delicious, healthy breakfast? This is zucchini pecan bread made with zucchinis from my own garden. And soon, as you'll see in this video, I'll be using pecans from my own pecan trees to make this bread. And of course, peaches, harvested just yesterday from my own peach trees. So the pomegranate tree is doing really well, and you can see there, developing pomegranate. And I have quite a few more in here. There's 2 more. There's one in there. There's one. Where else do I have them in this beautiful tree? Which you can grow this like a normal tree if you prune up the lower branches, or you can grow it as sort of a bush tree, which is what I prefer to do. It's really its natural tendency to do the bush growth type pattern, but again, sort of like a crepe myrtle, you could trim up the lower branches. And some of the varieties tend more toward bushiness than others. This is a wonderful variety, and I have to say it has been a wonderful tree. It requires almost no care. It gets sprinkler water twice a week, and that has been sufficient for it to keep growing and growing and growing. So it's about 8 feet tall, and that's about as tall as I let it get. Then I'll prune that central growth down and continue to encourage the bushiness. Not too far. I don't want it going too far over the edge, because then if it gets over here across the cage and toward the olive orchard, then you know who will get it. Come here, Coco. He's like, no, the sprinklers are on. I don't think I want to go over there. Besides, I know you're not actually going to let me eat that pomegranate tree. You're just tempting me, he says. Which is true. That's why I have to keep these side branches pruned, though, because if I don't prune them, the sheep will for me. There's about 25 pomegranates on the tree that I've counted so far, and that is going to be a very fun harvest in the fall. I love what you can do with pomegranates. They're so versatile. My favorite thing to do with them is make pomegranate spritzer. That is such a refreshing drink, and it's unusual taste, at least to me. So fresh and so delicious. Figs are starting to ripen. Definitely need to get these before the birds. The birds love the figs, and they don't all ripen at the same time, so I come out every day and take off what's ripe. This is a brown turkey fig tree. And if you haven't seen figs before, they start off tiny and green and then slowly turn purple. The inside of these are a deep purple. I have some other figs that the inside is red or pink, but brown turkeys are delicious. And twist, and it comes right off. This should be yummy. Inside of a fig does look a little different, but it's super scrumptious. I prefer to flatten them and just scrape with my teeth and get all the insides out. I also do a lot of cooking with them and put them in smoothies, make fig bars with them. But fresh out of the garden and just sucking the innards out is hard to beat. And the medlar tree is still growing well and developing its fruits. Overall, this tree looks fabulous. The leaves are doing great. The fruit is doing great. And look, there's new growth coming out at the top of many of the branches. So I'm really pleased with this, and I just can't wait to try these fruit in the fall when they are ripe. I'm really curious to see what cinnamon applesauce tastes like in a fruit. They like a Mediterranean climate, so as long as you give them regular water a couple times a week, they are thriving in this heat. Now you'll notice I've got the base of the tree wrapped in tulle because I found some rabbits had come all the way up here, which I've never done before, and were gnawing at that young tender bark, so I put a stop to that. They also tried to do that to my little tangelo tree, so I wrapped it up too. They had only got a nip out of it, so it's fine. And look, I've got tangelos. Maybe 4, I think, on here. There's another one there. There's one hiding. Can you see it? There it is. All right, the time has come to harvest this peach tree. So this Suncrest peach tree is ripe for harvest basically between July 10th and August 10th. Of course, that varies slightly every year depending on the weather we're having. And if you get in close, you can see, or a better shot right there. Look at those 2 peaches. They've been devoured by birds. They're right on top there, facing the sky. The birds said, wow, look at that. They have left us their ripe peaches. So yeah, I've got to get these peaches off. Once the birds start attacking, you know, they move fast and they could take out the whole tree really quickly. I have actually been harvesting these over the last week and a half. I've been taking off several every day. I've probably eaten, with the help of my kids, I don't know, about 40 peaches so far, and I'd say there's easily another 100 on the tree. Looking forward to that. There are 10 or 20 that I already took off, that I've taken some in the house, some are down here, that were bird damaged, but you can see that there's still plenty good. I can take, you know, half to 2/3 of the peach that wasn't damaged and cut it off and use it for smoothies or peach syrup or peach blondies, or, you know, anything I want to make with peaches. The rest of these we can enjoy fresh. We can make into peach ice cream, peach pie, peach cobbler, well, whatever. I mean, peaches, you can't go wrong with them. And fresh off the tree, well, there's really nothing as good as that. Now my other peach tree, a Rioso dwarf, well, semi-dwarf, it comes ready for harvest in mid-August. So that's something about fruit trees that if you're planning to have your own orchard, you should really think about, and that is successive harvesting. So you don't want all your fruit to come ripe at the same time. So with each different kind of fruit, I try to make sure that they're ready to harvest at least 3 to 5 weeks apart. And that's what I've got going on here with these peaches. And they are kind of small on this tree. This tree's a little younger than the other one. And my bad, I didn't thin them enough, but they're still going to be delicious. So in early June, we got to enjoy the plums and the plueries and the cherries. And at the end of June and the first part of July, we've been enjoying all the pluots. These are actually my favorite pluots of all. These are the dapple dandies, and I know they look, what, not ripe because they're green? Don't let that fool you when you bite into one of these. It's nice and red and juicy, and the perfect sweet tart flavor. In fact, these dapple dandy pluots are the whole reason I started a fruit orchard. I discovered them at a farmer's market about 4.5 years ago, and I was determined immediately that I was going to grow my own dapple dandy pluot tree. And that has what started me on the journey to having now over 65 fruit and nut trees. I've also been enjoying these peaches. This is just a few of the many we've enjoyed already. And as you saw earlier, my peaches now are fully ripe and I'm harvesting them all now. So very soon will be the second peach tree and the nectarines, and then the figs and the pears and all the apples and the citrus, and something special for the first time ever this year. These two trees are now, let's see, one is 3 years old and one is 4 years old, and they're actually 4 and 5 because they were 2 years old when I got them rather than 1 like all my bare root trees. And let me take you out to see what right now I'm considering my pride and joy, and that would be my pecan trees. And this is one of my pecan trees. Unlike all my other fruit and nut trees, my pecans I got as potted trees because bare root pecans are extremely difficult to root and grow in the ground. So it's much better to get it as a 2-year-old potted plant, which I did. But really, they're not supposed to start bearing this young. So you can imagine my surprise when I noticed I have pecans. And more than just 2 or 3, I've got several bunches here on the tree. I haven't even counted because I'm just so excited to see any at all. The tree is looking really healthy. Oh, here's some more. And I'm just so happy and can't wait there's a few more right in there. I'm just so happy to see them. Now this tree is a Pawnee, and with pecan trees you've got to have, like a lot of other fruit and nut trees, you've got to have a cross-pollinator or you won't get any nuts. So the year after I got this one, I got the cross-pollinator, a Lakota. Let's go check it out. Woo, the wind's coming up. That is such a nice breeze. I cannot say it's cool, but it does feel good. So this is the Lakota, and it's a year younger because I got it a year later. And I can't even believe it has pecans too. Maybe even more than the Pawnee. I mean, I have found them all over it. I'm just ecstatic. I can't tell you. I love pecans. I just do. I really love them. And they're a beautiful tree. There's more. Everywhere I look, I see more pecans. They're on almost every branch. Oh, here's some more big ones there. So yeah, they look like this in the beginning. So this tree is a little shorter than the other one, which is, let's see if you can see it. It's right there. And the olive orchard is behind it. So these are right by the road, and they're gonna get big and tall. They are probably the only tree of all my fruit and nut trees that I'm actually going to let get tall. All the other ones I'm keeping at the 6 to 9 or 10 foot level, mostly around 6 to 8 feet. But this one I am gonna let get tall. I do need to do some more pruning on it. Oh, there's some more, look at that. Because it actually was a weird shape when I got it. And so I'm probably gonna take this lower branch out here and cut it back in a bit because it's, I don't know though. Right now I'm just happy with it completely. I may not prune that back, at least not for a while. We'll let it get taller and see what I think then. But I just think these are gorgeous already. I love the leaves, I love the color, I love the structure, and I love that I've got pecans. Pecans are so versatile. They taste great just eating them right out of hand. They also make a fabulous addition to baking, and I love to bake. So yeah, we're definitely going to be enjoying these pecans. And that's what you call delicious peach cobbler. And it looks a little dark. That's not because it's burned. That's because I made it with brown sugar. And I used the peaches that had been bird damaged, and I was able to make 3 different peach cobblers. This big 9x13 one, this 9x9 gluten-free one, and a third that included some oatmeal. Isn't it amazing how good things look when you put them in a pretty bowl? This is a bowl I picked up at the thrift store. Actually, I picked up a little set of these because I liked them so much. Anyway, this peach cobbler is begging me to try it out, so that's what I'm going to do now. And I'll let you know what I think. Here it goes. Okay, that lives up to everything I remembered peach cobbler is. I'll put the recipe in the description below. This is actually the gluten-free one. So I did take a bite of the regular one too, and it tasted super good as well. They both have a hint of cinnamon and nutmeg, and they both are easy to make vegan because they don't use any eggs, and I used almond milk. The only thing you would do is what I did with the gluten-free one, which is to not use butter, but to use a butter substitute, and then they're actually vegan. They both were amazingly good. Of course, there is the question of, is it pecans, as I insist it is, or is it pecans, or is it pecans? Because everybody says it different. Well, here in California we say pecans, and so that's what I'm sticking with. And remember, you can create the garden and the life that you want, so don't let anyone ever tell you otherwise. See you next time, everyone.